Hey you, welcome back. I am Nat from Nat's Numbers, also known as the Numerology Chick over on Instagram. And we're going back to basics this week, you guys. We're going to be talking about name numerology. And in particular, we're going to be talking about what name to use to get the most accurate calculations in your core numerology chart. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what name to use to calculate your numerology chart, what to do in special cases, like for instance, if your name was changed soon after birth, if you have a suffix at the end of your name, etc. I'm also going to talk about what to do if your name is a non-English name. So if you are enjoying these Friday morning uploads and you want more of this content in the future, please share the love, like this video, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. It helps out a ton. So listen, numerology is so cool. It can do such cool things. In numerology, we can decode a unique to you algorithm of numbers that represents how you were designed by your creator. These numbers can describe your purpose, your gifts, your talents, your attraction factor, your deepest needs. And the way that we come up with this algorithm is through using your birth date, which is pretty self-explanatory, right? Your month, day, and year that you were born. But we also use your birth name. And this is where I get the most questions. So let's dive right in. What is the definition of your birth name? What is the name that you're going to use when you are inputting your information into an online numerology calculator or sending your information to a numerologist for a session? The definition of your birth name is using the full name that was given to you at birth that is printed on your birth certificate. So this means your first, middle, and last name, even if you never use it, even if nobody knows that you have that middle name, for instance, the full name. So when you input your name, you're not going to just do the middle initial. You're going to do every single letter that is written on that birth certificate. First, middle, and last. If you don't have a middle name, that's fine. My mom was born without a middle name as well. Just make sure that you print the full name that is listed on your birth certificate. If you have a suffix at the end of your name, like junior, senior, the second, the third, we do not include those extensions in our calculations, so you can leave that off. Now, if you come from a country or a culture where birth certificates aren't a thing, then the definition of a birth name for you would be the first official name that a child receives, okay? Now, what happens if you were given an official first name or you were given a birth certificate name, but then your name was changed days, weeks, months later? This is the case for those of us that were adopted. And it's also the case for a lot of us. A parent will give the official name, but then decide that they want that child to maybe have a different name. So what we believe in numerology is that the person that was given the task of choosing your name was actually tapping into your true fundamental nature in that moment. It's really seen as this incredible moment of imprinting. And so we still use that first official name. Now, full disclosure, in my private practice for people that do long-term coaching work, we take that, let's say, adopted name or that second name into account because it gives you incredible, beautiful gifts. But we still use that initial official first name as the basis for your core chart. Now, some people are like, yeah, but the person that named me didn't know me or they were a doofus or something like that. Just remember, the person that chose your name, they didn't really choose your name. The belief is that they were tapping in to your true energy in that moment and that that moment wasn't a coincidence. All right, so what happens then if your birth name is in another language? It's like a non-English name. What name do you input into a numerology calculator then? So here's the rub on this. If your name is made up of the Latin alphabet, which would be the case for English, Italian, Spanish, French, and so on, then we use that name. Now, some of these languages have variations. They have special characters. For instance, in Spanish, there's the N that has the tilde over it. or I think it's in Portuguese and in French that have the squiggly C. So these extra characters are actually there to describe different ways to pronounce that initial base character. So for instance, in the case of the N that has the tilde over it, we just insert that into the value of N. If you have the squiggly C, I know there's a better term for that, but if you have a squiggly C, it's calculated as a C. And think about it this way. The reason that English is such a hard language to learn is because we use the same base letter or character in our alphabet to represent all of the various sounds that that letter can make. Like, so for instance, for W, you can hear it actively in wow, but in the word glow, the W falls silent. Or in the case of H, you can hear H actively in home, but you can't hear it in the word herb. All right, so the letters are still the same letters, even though there are different pronunciations of them. So if you have a name that's based on that base Latin alphabet, you're going to go ahead and use that name when you input it into a numerology calculator. And if there are special characters, you convert those special characters to their base letter. Okay, now, just as a random nerdy side note, the Latin alphabet actually has an intricate relationship between the letters in numerical order. It's not arbitrary like a lot of us think it might be. Our first two letters, A and B, are actually sourced back to Phoenician or Greek letters like alpha and beta. And alpha was considered the single unit, the first original thing, because back then they didn't yet have the Arabic number system 1 through 9. So these letters actually would sometimes denote numerical equivalents. So this Latin alphabet and the sequential order of it is considered really important, and it's evolved over hundreds and hundreds of years. So that's another reason why we really honor that. Now, if your birth name is in a different alphabet than the Latin alphabet, like it's written in Russian, in Chinese, and Japanese, then what we do is we use the English translation of the full name at birth. Because again, we're using this real sacred Pythagorean alphanumerical grid or system that's based on the Latin alphabet. Now, if you guys know of a numerologist that has created a system based on that foreign alphabet, like the Russian alphabet, the Japanese or Chinese alphabet, please comment below and share that resource with those individuals that want to dive into that, because I think that would be a really, really cool thing to dive into. But with my clients, where we've done this translation, it's proven to be uncannily accurate and incredibly powerful in its ability to reveal their primary gifts and their primary talents. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you still have some questions about your name or what name to use, please comment below and I'll try to help you out. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk with you guys again next Friday morning. Bye.